everyone, welcome to the show. This is your host Chubby, and today is a level 1 elephant. Today we have a guest. Her name is Jasmine, and she is part of the Teens We Care. Um, Originally, I decided to do a teens episode because our youth are seen as people who are not connected to what's surrounding them or their world. So I decided to get some teens to come on here and for them to give us their take and what they're doing with providing to the world. So here is Jasmine from Teens We Care.
Hi,
Hello, how are you? Thank you for
I'm
joining us in the show.
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. Thank you again for joining us. And I came across Teens We Care on Instagram, and I was very impressed by the fact that one, you're a teen, and two, that you're actually doing something for society. And teens are usually seen as people who are not really connected to society, like their surroundings. And I
Mhm.
saw that in Teens We Care, you provide like donations for certain, um, like problems like going in the surrounding. Right now, currently in Canada, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how did Teens We Care came about.
sure. So it actually started as a really informal group of high school students who were interested in like giving back to the community and then volunteering and stuff like that. And since we've been making a lot of impactful initiatives, impactful projects, so I thought it would be nice to establish a formal youth-led organization, and that's why I name it Teens We Care. We are we are doing the same things, like we still doing projects, initiatives to help vulnerable populations during the pandemic, but I'm pretty sure we are kind of more formal right now because we have the name. We are called Teens We Care. We have a social media account which has been really good.
And in Teens We Care, what are the ranges of the teens that are actually participating, or is it just by yourself?
It's not by myself. There's a lot of people involved in Teens We Care. So our there's around more than 15 members within our team. So we have different roles like executive team, and then we have social media coordinator, ambassadors, plot writers, and yeah, there's a wide range of duties and then roles within our team. I'm not doing this alone.
Oh wow! And how did you come about reaching out to people to actually work with Teens We Care?
The majority of members of Teens We Care, it's from my high school because
Mm.
I kind of promote Teens We Care within my high school a lot. And then since our social media has a really good impact on Instagram specifically, like we have around 2,000 followers, and our interaction it's pretty steady. I usually post some recruitment posts on Instagram, like looking for ambassadors, looking for social media coordinator, and we've been getting a lot of good applications so far.
Oh, nice, nice. That is really interesting that your school actually lets you promote your organization there. I know growing up, my school didn't let me do anything, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So how do you pick the places you donate to? Because that's really, the most important thing.
Yeah, that's a really hard question to answer because we don't pick organizations based on like certain criteria or any requirement. So for example, because we are also based out of Canada, so we also try to as many Canadian organizations as possible. Like for example, our 2022 bottle drive. All proceeds went toward the Canadian Red Cross, and our projects and initiatives always have different themes. Like, there was a project I believe it was like 100 care packages donated to a homeless shelter. So we try to target different homeless shelters in the local city. And also because we are also located in a relatively small city, so there's not a lot of options to choose.
Right.
Yeah, so we just go with whatever available in our city.
Okay. And how is the what's the word I'm looking for? How do people react to want for you to donate to them? How, like wanting to donate to them? How do these people react to the kindness of like what you guys are doing?
Um, they they're really welcome, to be honest. Like when I remember there was a it's called the Youth Quest Center. So
Mm-hmm.
it's basically a center for like homeless youth, and then they provide services like meals and then games and stuff like that for homeless youth. And I think we did a project with them. We brought like 75 non-perishable food hampers to them, and they were really welcome. And then they even sent me a thank you package, or like thank you mail
Yeah.
to us a couple weeks later on. So I think most of the organizations we have worked with have the same reactions.
That's nice because some places, obviously, all around the world, they work differently, and some places like they have to go through a criteria or like they have to go like through paperwork. Did you have to go through any of that?
No, most of the organizations that we've worked with are really open. Like I just reach out to them either through email. I would normally say that, okay, I have some non-perishable food available, or like some winter care packages. I was wondering if I could bring it to them like as soon as possible, and they said yes. And then I just prop I just drove to their organization and dropped them off. Really easy process, no paperwork
Oh,
involved or
nice.
like anything else like that.
Nice, a very easy process. That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so from the beginning of the pandemic until now, how hard was it to start this and to continue what you're doing?
It's been hard, obviously, because of restrictions and then limits and things like that.
Right.
So like normally when we go donate things to organizations, we would go as a group, like because we are pretty big group of high school students, and we want to go um, donating things together. However, since when the pandemic hit, and then restrictions, limits, and things like that, I've been going alone, like without my group. I still take photos and then things like that to them to update, but
Yeah.
just alone without the members. So it's a lot, um less fun and then things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it had pandemic did, put a hold on a lot of things. So the fact that you're thriving and still doing this into, till now, that's really amazing because again, I know it's hard for out there. Like when I wanted to do some donations, it's like, no, we're not doing any of that right now because of X, Y, and Z. Well, which is understandable. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Um.
is.
So personally, what have you learned from doing this? From doing what you're doing, from the donations to meeting people.
Well, I've learned a lot of things. Like honestly, this youth led organization has taught me a lot of things. Like I've learned that there's fortunate people surrounding me, like even in the city and in other places, and I feel really rewarding giving back to the community, helping them overcome challenges and that sort of thing.
So to write off that, what was the most impactful donation you have done so far?
Um, well, honestly, I and my team have done a lot of donations, like
Yeah.
to different organizations and stuff. It's hard to answer, but
Yeah.
I would say that the winter care packages, we packed 100 of them, and then each of them included like, socks, gloves, toothpaste, toothbrush, and all of the winter necessities for homeless people to survive, because Canada has a really intense winter. So
Yeah.
I would say that that was the most impactful project that we've done so far.
Yeah, winter can get really brutal, like in California as well, when it's like really, really cold up, especially, on the north side. I could only imagine. Yeah. Just like in Massachusetts, especially with the homeless population around there. Yeah, that's very important to have. Um, what do you see yourself actually continuing to do this even after hopefully the pandemic uh, ends, or the restrictions of it? Do you see yourself doing this in the future as you get older, or do you think it's just a part-time thing right now since you're in school and stuff?
Yeah, of course. I'm thinking of doing this as long as possible. Like, even though I'm still in high school, and then there may be a lot of things I have to do after graduating, but honestly, I would say that giving back to the community and then volunteering has been an integral part of my life, and I'm thinking of doing this like as long as possible. So I will continue to grow, develop Teen Sweet Care in the future, and hopefully when the pandemic ends, and then when there's no restrictions and limits, we could expand more.
Do you see yourself opening like an actual like place for it, like a place for people to visit or things like that, like a physical location?
Yeah, of course. That would be a really good option. Like maybe we would register with the Canadian government to be
Mm,
a registered charity or nonprofit organization,
yeah.
and then we would have like an office, like a small office,
Yeah.
and then yeah, I mean like doing through stuff like not just a an online or like youth led nonprofit organizations anymore.
That
It
will
could like
be
expand larger.
Yeah, that will be life changing, especially when you could see how it's impacting now, and having an actual like office or place, and for people to actually donate to you. That will be amazing to for you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So, thank you again for like for saying yes to this interview. I truly appreciate it. I wish more teens were more involved, but we gotta, praise the ones that are already doing enough. I know that it's tough out there, with school and all the restrictions and all of that. But thank you again for joining the today's episode. Um, what advice do you have for other teens who have like a passion or something along these lines, like you're doing, that um, they don't know how to start something like this, if they have an idea?
Yeah, this is a really great question because I'm going to publish a blog just on this topic, like how to carry out your passion for community service. And also, in terms of some pieces of advice, I would say that firstly try to get involved in your school. So I believe that every school like has a community service club where they will introduce you to like different volunteer opportunities available in your city or like available at your age, and then try to volunteer first in the community. Like I started out by being a regular weekly volunteer for a nonprofit organization, and I learned a lot through that positions, and I've learned the skills, I learned the knowledge to establish Teens We Care later on. So I would say that even though it sounds like a really small position, like being a registered regular volunteer, but it definitely helps you a lot later on in your future journey.
No, yeah, that's true, especially now with social media and the resources you're actually able to obtain yourself. You're actually able to, you know, uh, look at other people and how they're doing it as well, and give you ideas, and maybe, get that foot forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is such an amazing opportunity. I got to share my thoughts, my opinions, and hopefully help other teens to get started with their community service journey.
Where can they find you if anybody's like listening to this and they're like, "Ooh, I want to support you guys." Where can they find you at?
They can message us, like DM us on Instagram. Our Instagram is Teens We Care. And then if they have further questions, they can email us as teenswecare@gmail.com.
Thank,
We're happy to answer any questions.
thank you so much again. And there you have it. That was Jasmine from Teens We Care. That was very insightful. Again, if you have a passion for something like this, you guys could just start it. Basically, there's so many things out there. If you have the passion for this and something similar and you don't know how to start, social media is a really great way for you to start. Like I was mentioning, you can get ideas from other organizations and see where you could go from there.
But I do have some quotes for you all. I have not forgotten about that. The first one is education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. And one of my favorites, one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher can change the world by Malala. And one of the most inspirational teens of today, Greta Thunberg. Many of you appear concerned that we are wasting valuable lesson time, but I assure you we will go back to school the moment you start listening to science and give us a future. And that was quotes for you all. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the quotes. That's the thing, that society thinks that teens are not listening, and I feel like the teens nowadays are becoming more conscious of what is happening around the world, just like Greta Thunberg, and the climate change. I do feel like teens are well-rounded now. Obviously, like when we were kids, this was not happening as bad, and the things we didn't realize, the things that were going on because we weren't aware of those things. But now teens, I feel like, are more aware, and we need to give them the benefit of the doubt that they are listening. Trust me, they are listening. Earlier this month, I was teaching a class to 13 to 17-year-old girls who were, it seemed like they were beyond their years. Like I was talking to people in our 30s or even older, and they were aware of everything, and we cannot underestimate the children's today. Teens, they know more than we think, and if we could help them, let's help them. And if we could bring their ideas to life, or anything that they have, or whatever thoughts they have, we should, as adults. Like we always say, if we know better, we do better, correct? I always hear this that, oh, our kids are our future, but if they are our future, why aren't we helping them? Why aren't we trying to make them smarter, better, more kinder, more human to the world? I just feel like we're not trying to change the patterns of how we used to, or how we grew up, how we used to be. I feel like we're just repeating the same mistakes, knowing damn well we have the resources, we have everything, the knowledge, everything has improved, everything is advanced, and yet teens have social media to let them guide them if they don't have it at home. We have programs, like the one I was teaching, Yes Sister Friend, for those who need another guidance in some way. We need our counselors, we need our therapists, we need our adults who are willing to listen. But kids they're bright, they have a future, and they care, they know what they want. We just need to help them, and especially the ones that need a push, we need those. But our future is not doomed yet. If we have people like Jasmine from Teens We Care, we have Greta, if we have Malala at her time when she was her teen, we have people who care. And we also have to remind ourselves that we once were kids, and we once were teens. And we have to remember all those people who never listened to us, or the people that did listen to us. How we want to be. How do we want to treat our teens now as they're getting older. Like, what type of adult do we want to see in the world? Again, kinder, humility, compassionate adults. But it starts now, from their knowledge, from what they want to do now. Just remember to always give those kids a push and the resources and the help that they deserve. I truly enjoy interviewing Jasmine from Teens We Care. She's very insightful, very well spoken, and I hope you guys give them a follow, at Teens We Care. Again, thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for supporting us and for sharing and for your comments and for your advice. And if you stay this long in the podcast, listening all the way through, if you would like to join one episode of No Filters, No Fears, you could always email us at nofiltersnofears@gmail.com. Just drop a line and let us know you want to participate. Just any fun topic will do. Thank you again and have a good night. And like I always say, stay fearless, everyone.